I thought I knew everything about my sister, Clara, and I certainly thought I knew my own daily routine. But when my 9-year-old daughter, Lily, walked up to me and quietly begged me to stop taking Aunt Clara's pills, the world tilted. I hadn't touched her medication, yet Lily was certain she'd watched me do it. That small request sparked a desperate hunt for a missing prescription bottle and led me straight to the pharmacy. What the doctor revealed about the pills and the person really taking them didn't just shock me, it left me completely frozen, realizing my daughter had witnessed a truth far darker than I could have ever imagined. Welcome to Voice of Alicia, where stories breathe, emotions speak, and every word paints a world of its own. Close your eyes. Relax your mind and step into a story crafted just for you. It was a cold, rainy Tuesday, the kind of day that makes you want to stay buried under the covers. But for me, it was just another day juggling work and motherhood. My daughter, Lily, who is 9 and usually a whirlwind of questions and energy, came into the kitchen and stood silently, watching me make her lunch. I noticed the change in her instantly. She wasn't just quiet, she was hesitant, her eyes fixed on something just past my shoulder. "Sweetie, what is it?" I asked, putting down the sandwich knife. She took a deep breath, clutching the hem of her pajama shirt, a nervous habit she picked up from me. "Mom," she started, her voice barely a whisper, "can you please stop taking Aunt Clara's pills?" The request hit me with a jolt that was far more intense than its simple words suggested. I froze. Aunt Clara, my older sister, had been staying with us for the last few months while recovering from a serious infection. She'd been on several medications, powerful stuff, and while she was on the mend, her recovery was slow. I didn't take her pills, ever. The very idea was absurd. I'm meticulous about medications, I keep my own prescriptions separate, and I certainly wouldn't risk my health with something prescribed to someone else. "Lily, I don't know what you're talking about," I said, trying to keep my voice calm, but my heart was starting to pound. "I haven't touched any of Aunt Clara's medicine. Where did you get that idea?" She didn't meet my eyes. She just pointed a small, shaky finger toward the kitchen counter, specifically at the small, labeled plastic container I use for my own daily supplements. My iron pills, my vitamin D. "I saw you, Mom, yesterday morning. You took the tiny white ones from her blue bottle and you put them in your cup. I know they're hers because I helped her put them back in the bottle the day before." The certainty in her voice was unnerving. She wasn't accusing me of stealing. She was pleading with me, scared for my well-being. But she had to be mistaken. I stared at the counter, at my little orange supplement container, and a wave of confusion and creeping fear washed over me. What if she hadn't been mistaken? What if I was doing something I couldn't remember? After Lily left for school, her words hung in the air like a thick fog. I immediately went upstairs to the small guest bathroom, where Clara kept her medication. There was a large, zippered travel kit on the counter, containing a bewildering array of bottles and pill organizers. Clara had been very sick, and the pharmacy had filled her prescriptions with large quantities. I found the bottle Lily must have been referring to, a round blue plastic container with a label for a strong painkiller that Clara was supposed to take 3 times a day. The pills were indeed tiny and white, almost indistinguishable from the generic pain relievers I kept in my own medicine cabinet. I opened the bottle and counted them. I was meticulous. I even checked the date on the label and cross-referenced it with the dosage instructions. According to the label, she should have had 90 pills when she arrived a month ago, and by my calculations, based on the prescribed daily dose, there should have been about 25 pills left. I counted them twice. There were 32. 7 too many. This small discrepancy didn't fit Lily's story. If I had been taking them, the number should have been lower than expected. The sheer relief I felt was physical. Lily must have seen me taking my own small white generic painkiller, which I sometimes do for tension headaches, and in her 9-year-old mind confused the bottles. Case closed, I thought. I was in the clear. But the relief was short-lived. Later that evening, Clara came into the living room looking tired. "Did you see my blue bottle?" she asked, rubbing her temples. "I swear I put it on the nightstand after my morning dose, and now I can't find it. I really need to take this evening one." My stomach lurched. "Clara, I saw a blue bottle in the guest bathroom," I said, pointing upstairs. "No, that's the anti-inflammatory," she sighed, exasperated. "The one for the severe joint pain. The other blue bottle. The pain medication." Suddenly, the cold truth of the situation hit me. The bottle I had counted, the one with the extra pills, was the wrong one. Clara had 2 blue bottles. One was accounted for, with more pills than expected. The other, the severe pain medication, was missing. And Lily had been absolutely certain I was taking the tiny white ones from a blue bottle. I felt a chill run down my spine, the fear returning, sharper and more focused this time. This wasn't a mistake. It was a mystery, and it was tied directly to me. I spent the next hour frantically searching the house, going through drawers and cabinets, desperate to find the missing blue bottle. I checked every spot Clara might have put it. Under the bed, in the laundry hamper, even in the fridge, knowing that illness can make people forgetful. Nothing. The fact remained, the bottle Lily pointed to was gone, and she had seen me taking pills from a blue bottle and placing them into my supplement container. I had to know why she was so sure and if I had any way to verify her story. I remembered she had mentioned helping Clara organize her pills the day before the alleged incident. Clara used a pill organizer for her morning and evening doses, pulling from the master bottles. I found the empty weekly organizer on Clara's bedside table. I looked at the slots. All the morning slots were empty, and all the evening slots were empty, except for the current day. I checked the packaging of the severe painkiller. It was a controlled substance, and the pharmacy was required to be extremely precise. I went back to the blue bottle I did find, the anti-inflammatory, the one that had an extra 7 pills. I picked it up and held it. That's when I saw it. A small piece of masking tape on the bottom with a faint, smudged A written on it in Clara's handwriting for anti-inflammatory. Then I remembered the missing bottle had a small smudged P for pain. The gravity of the situation was becoming overwhelming. Lily saw me. I had no memory of it. A highly addictive, strong painkiller was missing. That evening, I sat Lily down, away from Clara. I didn't want to scare her, but I needed to know every detail. "Lily, tell me exactly what happened yesterday morning, from when you woke up." She recounted the memory with the clarity of a child who was genuinely frightened by what she had witnessed. "You poured juice, and then you went to the counter, and you took the blue bottle, and you tipped it, and you shook out 2 tiny white pills onto your palm. Then you put them into your orange vitamin cup, and you drank them with your juice." I searched my own memory, straining to recall that morning's routine, but it was a blank. It was a stressful morning. I was late for a video call. Did I take my own generic painkiller without thinking and put it in my cup? Yes, I did that all the time. But 2 tiny white pills from a blue bottle? I decided there was only one person who could resolve the uncertainty. I drove straight to the pharmacy where Clara got her prescriptions and explained the confusion, the missing bottle, the misplaced pills in the wrong bottle, my daughter's insistent statement. The pharmacist was hesitant to share patient information, but the urgency in my voice and the mention of a missing controlled substance made him agree to pull Clara's file, under the condition that I was her designated caregiver. The pharmacist, a kindly man named Mr. Chen, looked through the digital records. He focused on the 2 prescriptions in blue bottles, the anti-inflammatory, A, and the severe painkiller, P. Clara's file confirms she picked up the prescriptions exactly a month ago, Mr. Chen said, tapping his screen. 90 tablets of the anti-inflammatory, 2 pills a day, and 90 tablets of the severe painkiller, also 2 pills a day. He confirmed my counts. The A bottle should have had 25 pills left. Mine had 32. He paused. It seems Clara has consistently missed 7 doses of her anti-inflammatory over the last month. Then he looked up the severe painkiller, the missing bottle, the one Lily claimed to have seen me take from. The severe painkiller, the P bottle, he said, adjusting his glasses. Based on the filling date and the prescribed dosage, she should have exactly 25 pills remaining. And how many did she have? I asked, my voice thin. She doesn't have any, he said simply. The record shows 0. It was finished 2 weeks ago. I felt the blood drain from my face. What? But she was prescribed it for a whole month. It should have lasted until next week. The records indicate she filled an early refill 2 weeks ago, he explained. She picked up the remaining 65 pills early, citing a lost or damaged bottle and a need to continue her pain management immediately. My heart pounded against my ribs. Clara had lied to the pharmacy. She had secretly refilled a controlled substance early. Why? And if she'd gotten a new bottle 2 weeks ago, why was she now looking for the old one? The picture was getting darker, and it involved Clara, not me. I decided to check the medicine bottle that was not missing, the one with the extra 7 pills. Can you tell me which pills are which by sight? I asked. Mr. Chen nodded and brought out a reference guide. We compared the anti-inflammatory A pill to the generic white painkiller I sometimes took. Yes, they are nearly identical, he confirmed. Then he looked at the severe painkiller, P, the one that was secretly refilled and now apparently empty again, the tiny white pill. The 2 are quite similar, he said, pointing to the image on his screen. However, the A pill has a small score mark. The P pill, the severe painkiller, does not. I looked down at the handful of pills from the anti-inflammatory bottle, the ones that were 7 too many. Every single one had the score mark. They were not the severe painkiller. They were my generic white painkillers, the ones I took for tension headaches. The revelation hit me with a shocking force. The pills in Clara's anti-inflammatory bottle weren't extra, they were replacements. Someone had been secretly removing Clara's anti-inflammatory pills and replacing them with my generic scored painkillers. But the question remained, where did Lily get the idea that I was taking pills from the blue bottle? I drove home in a daze, my mind racing. The facts were now clear, stark, and terrifying. 1. Clara was taking too many severe painkillers, P bottle, and had lied to get an early refill 2 weeks ago. Now the new bottle was also gone. 2. Someone was replacing Clara's anti-inflammatory pills, the A bottle, with my generic scored painkillers to cover up the missing quantity. 3. Lily saw me taking my own generic pills and putting them into my supplement container. As I pulled into the driveway, I pieced together the final chilling sequence. Lily's memory was almost perfect, but her interpretation was skewed by the context. She knew I took my pills from my orange container. She knew Clara's pills were in a blue bottle. But she had helped Clara organize them. I ran inside and found the orange supplement container. I poured the contents out onto the counter, my iron, my vitamin D, and several tiny white scored generic painkillers, the ones I took for my headaches, the exact same ones that were being used to replace the anti-inflammatory pills in Clara's blue bottle. I felt a cold sweat break out on my neck. Lily wasn't pleading with me to stop taking Clara's pills. She was pleading with me to stop taking my pills because she had just seen someone else taking my pills and placing them in a blue bottle. I confronted Clara. I presented her with the facts, the 7 extra pills, the early refill, the missing bottles. I told her I knew she was using my generic painkillers to replace her less addictive medication, covering her tracks as she abused the severe painkiller. Clara broke down instantly. She confessed through tears that her infection had left her with a crushing pain addiction. She'd realized the anti-inflammatory pills were similar enough to my generic ones that she could swap them out to make up the missing count, believing I wouldn't notice the subtle score marks on the pill. But she had made one critical mistake, and that mistake was the detail that left me utterly frozen. "The day before Lily saw you," Clara whispered, her eyes terrified, "I realized I was totally out of my generics, so I took your orange supplement container and I filled my anti-inflammatory bottle with your unmarked generic painkillers. I was rushing. I must have been seen." I finally understood what Lily had seen. It wasn't me taking Clara's pills. Lily had seen Clara taking my own unmarked generic painkillers out of the communal pill box, putting them into her blue bottle, and then realizing she had forgotten to take her own morning vitamins, Clara had quickly grabbed the first available pills, mine, and put them into my orange container to replace what she took, all while Lily watched. My daughter hadn't seen me secretly abusing medication. She had seen her sick aunt stealing my pills to cover her addiction, and then she had seen that same aunt taking my own supplements and putting them into my container, believing it was me who was taking the wrong medication. Lily was trying to protect me from the person she thought I had become. The doctor's final revelation wasn't about my health, it was about Clara's, and how close her addiction had come to fracturing my relationship with my own child. Clara needed help, and Lily needed to know the truth. I realized that my own lack of attention had allowed my sister's secret to grow and nearly destroy the trust of my daughter. The pills were just the symptom. The frozen truth was the depth of my sister's deceit and the incredible, clear sight of my 9-year-old daughter. Thank you for spending your time with Alicia. If this story moved you, let your support be felt. Like, share, and subscribe. Your presence inspires the next tale. Until our voices meet again. Stay calm, stay curious, and keep dreaming.